Welcome to your masterclass, Three Simple and Powerful Ways to Kickstart Your Memoir. I am delighted that you are spending an hour with me tonight to talk about strategies and learn how you can start or finish your memoir and your writing project. Before we move on, I want to make sure that everybody can hear me and that everybody is here. I believe everybody has been admitted. And if you, I'll check the chat. And if you can't hear me, say so and I'll make sure. But I'm pretty sure that you can hear me. So I'm delighted that you're here. And I want to, first of all, start off with what our plan is for the next 60 minutes. And Josh said he can hear me. Wonderful. I'm glad. We'll start off with a little introduction, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. We'll go over what we're going to touch on this next hour or a little under an hour, and then I'm going to dive into the strategies and share the three simple and powerful ways that you can kickstart your memoir. We'll have time for Q&A, and if you stay for the entire session, I do have a bonus for you. So I'm going to switch off my camera so that we can get focused and we're going to get started. Again, I want to thank you for being here, and I am thrilled that you're taking an hour out of your day or evening, depending on where you are, to further your writing career or learn more about the craft of writing. By the end of this masterclass, Three Simple and Powerful Ways to Kickstart Your Memoir, my hope is that you are able to unlock your unique storytelling voice and be able to structure your narrative for maximum impact. My hope is that you will also be equipped with practical tools and strategies to overcome writer's block and bring your memoir to life. This masterclass is for you if you are feeling overwhelmed by the thought of distilling your life experience into a coherent narrative, or you find yourself doubting whether your life experiences are worthy of being shared with others. Or maybe you struggle to find the time, motivation, or discipline to complete your memoir project. By the end of this masterclass, my hope is that you will go from feeling like the person on the left, tossing out everything you're working on, deleting it, if you will, since most of us are not typing on typewriters, to feeling happy, complete, satisfied, proud of a manuscript that you have created. That is my hope. And chances are you might be feeling overwhelmed, conflicted, nervous, apprehensive, or unsure. And my hope is at the end of this hour together that you feel motivated, excited, optimistic, determined, and ready to write or finish your memoir. So just a reminder before we move on, let's minimize the distractions so that you can get the most out of our time together. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and turn off your cell phone, close unnecessary tabs on your computer. If you're like me and have dogs, you can put the dogs away. Because if they're anything like mine, they're going to want to make some noise when you need to have your attention elsewhere. And finally, just clear your space. Again, I want you to get the most out of this 1 hour together. So a little bit about me. I'm Carrie Kreisman, a St. Petersburg, Florida native, and for more than 30 years, I've written in some form or fashion for my careers at our local newspaper, the Tampa Bay Times, formerly the St. Petersburg Times, then as a public relations manager for a local nonprofit that creates accessibility through the arts for people with disabilities. I was basically their chief storyteller. And while I don't have an artistic bone in my body, having worked for an arts organization, I am told that those of us who do enjoy writing should absolutely consider ourselves artists. We're artists of the written word. So, a little bit more about me. I'm the author of Accidental First Lady: On the Front Lines and Behind the Scenes of Local Politics. That's my memoir of my life as a 22-year political spouse. And it was an untold story. There are certainly memoirs by famous political spouses, but those of us on the local level, um, those stories have not been told. So I decided to tell mine. I'm an educator. I have taught memoir to students who want to write their memoir in person, through writing workshops and at a local college. And I mentioned my three dogs, but I must say I am a Labrador lover, and I hope we've got some other puppy lovers here, and a volunteer raiser for Dogs Inc. I'm an advocate. I'm a cancer survivor, so I advocate on the national and local level for the Ovarian Cancer Research Alliance. And I hope that I am an inspirer, because I truly believe that stories deserve to be told. And I believe in the power of stories. So, yeah, Monica says dogs, yes. And Nicole is also a puppy raiser for Dogs Inc. That's so cool. We will have to chat on the side. I thought your name sounded familiar. So back to the master class. Like I said, I believe in the power of stories. And before writing my book, I asked a childhood friend if my story was worth telling, because I believe that any of us who sit down to write anything, there's a hint of self doubt. And certainly, if we're embarking on the idea of writing a book, that self doubt might be more evident. But here's what she told me. She said, if it's in your heart, then you should absolutely do it. Um, so let me repeat that for emphasis, because it's what I told myself throughout the writing process. If it is in your heart, then do it. And she had written her own memoir, which is why I asked her advice. So I want you to think about, as we go through this masterclass, for the next 45 minutes or so, what is the story inside of your heart? What is the burning desire you have to tell others about? What do you want to share that will hopefully inspire, educate, and entertain someone else? So, as I mentioned, if you stay until the end, I do have a bonus. So just keep that in mind. If you need to step away for a second to refill that water bottle, warm up coffee or tea, come right back and settle in. But I do want to be able to share a bonus that I really think you're going to love. So, when it comes to writing memoir, most people want to believe their story is worth telling, but so why do few of us actually start writing? I read a statistic recently that 62% of Americans say they want to write their memoir, yet 10% see publication day. So there's a whole lot of would-be authors and writers out there who want to do this, but what is holding them back? So let me remind you, no matter where you are in your writing journey, you're exactly where you need to be, because you have a burning desire to tell your story through memoir. Now, you may need to dial that down, distill the essence of the exact story you want to tell, but you have a story to tell. And you need to know and feel validated and know that it is worth telling. What if I told you that you could write your memoir? And that's what I'm going to hopefully inspire within you today. I'm going to teach you three easy ways to start writing your memoir, or how to get unstuck if that's where you happen to be. I'll show you how using memory triggers to create a list of significant moments, emotions, people, and places can help. I'll show you how to write in scenes rather than summarizing events. And I'll show you how to set realistic writing goals to maintain momentum. So, just for a minute, imagine what would life look like if you finally had the tools to start writing your memoir. Think about a year from now, even a couple years, if that's what it takes. Think of how it feels or would feel to hold the book you wrote, your story, in your hands. And before we move on, I know I mentioned the 62% of Americans who want to write their memoir, but I want to dispel a myth that you must be famous to write your memoir. Now, I'm not going to lie. You walk into any bookstore, go to the biography section or memoir, depending on how they categorize memoirs. And you can look and you'll find famous people who've written their memoirs, but dig a little deeper. And you're going to find memoirs by people that may not be a household name, but you either read the book jacket or the inside, or you flip through a few chapters and you realize that there is a compelling story there. So if you think that you can't write your memoir because you're famous, I want you to throw that idea in the garbage. I want you to consider the possibility that after this class, you'll be equipped with the knowledge of 3 transformative methods to ignite your memoir writing journey and leave you inspired and ready to embark on or complete your memoir with confidence. So, to recap, here are the strategies we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about memories, and we're going to talk about scenes versus events, and then we're going to talk about goals. So let's get started. First, may seem obvious, but you need to find your unique memoir idea. And how do you do that? One way is to reflect on your life experiences. And that means true reflection, and it takes patience and it takes time. Um, Changing your environment might be a way. Go for a walk. Just spend some time thinking about it, and think of the memories, the emotions you felt during a certain period. Try to remember significant events, relationships, challenges, and triumphs. One of the key components of memoir is a transformation that the author shares with the reader. And it's not a transformation like I changed my hair color or I went from this to that, but you did. You underwent something and learned something through the process that becomes your unique story. So, in essence, memories are what memoirs are made of. Over 80% of successful memoirists cite their memories as the primary source of inspiration and material for crafting their compelling narratives. So, when thinking about the exact story that you want to tell through memoir, consider flipping through old photo albums or digital files, and chances are you're going to be reminded of something you'd long forgotten. And even if you come to the place of deciding or wanting to write your memoir with a specific idea, like I did, it still helps to sift through photographs because we simply can't retain everything at top of mind. And enhancing our story with anecdotal items that happened during those times that you found, possibly through an old photograph, um, can just enhance your story and make it more interesting to your reader. Images contained in photographs help you tell your story and bring your reader on the journey with you. So another way is to use prompts. A photograph is a prompt, but also music or even scents. And when I say scents, I mean smells. Like you could smell pine, for example, and it might remind you of a holiday 20 years ago during the time you're thinking about writing your memoir, but it'll be part of that story that you want to tell. And you may have forgotten that, but that scent could bring you back to that time. The sensory cues evoke vivid memories and emotions. They can help us unlock stories that might have been buried in the past. A photograph can bring back a forgotten moment, and a piece of music can transport you to a different time. So, by engaging the senses, these prompts help you tap into your authentic experiences and make your memoir more relatable and evocative for readers. The second strategy that I want to teach you is to write in scenes. We all can list events. If someone asks us about our vacation, for example, we can say we went here and there and we ate at this restaurant and that tour, et cetera, et cetera. But we're not really telling them anything beyond what we did and listing things. But crafting scenes, rather than simply recounting events, can actually increase reader engagement by up to 65%. as it immerses your reader in the emotional and sensory experience that you are sharing and fosters a deeper connection to your narrative. Writing in scenes can significantly improve your memoir because it creates a cinematic experience for the reader. Scenes allow you to show events as they happen, complete with dialogue, action, and sensory details. All of these bring your story to life. This approach helps ground the reader in specific moments and makes your narrative more vivid and engaging. So, by focusing on scenes, you can illustrate key experiences and emotions, and you develop deeper connections with your readers, and you convey the essence of your story that is both authentic and compelling. So, in essence, you want to create a cinematic experience for your readers. So here's a exercise that I want you to engage in. Not at this moment, but try it later, either tonight or tomorrow over the weekend. Um, Write freely about any memory that you have without worrying about structure or coherence. Um, Basically, you can write about a day at the park, a dinner that you had, but it's a good practice to incorporate action into memoir that helps bring your story to life by showing rather than telling, because action creates a sense of immediacy, allowing readers to experience events as they unfold, feel the tension, and see the world through your eyes. So, by describing specific movements, reactions, and physical details, you can create a dynamic narrative that engages readers and makes them feel as though they are living through the moments alongside you. This approach not only enhances the emotional impact of your memoir, but also helps draw your readers into the story. So, like I've mentioned before, engage the senses. Practice picking one vivid memory, write it as a scene, and focus on sensory details, dialogue, and emotions. That helps get the reader immersed in the world you are describing, and you evoke a more vivid and relatable picture of your memories. Sensory richness can trigger emotions and memories in your readers by making your story more compelling and resonant. So I challenge you, bring sensory elements to life. And it requires digging deep. It's not just writing, but it's thinking how to convey your feelings and what you felt and harnessing authenticity. And by sharing your lived experience, your reader will resonate with the story that you're telling. Now, if you've done any writing or studied the craft of writing or read books, you've heard the concept show versus tell. And basically, it's what I've just told you. Focus on painting vivid scenes. I'm going to use a coffee shop example really quickly. This is something that a lot of us probably do. We go to a coffee shop, we meet a friend, what have you. So I think we could all relate. You could write it like this. You could say, I woke up, I turned my alarm off, and I got dressed and I headed to the coffee shop. I ordered my coffee, I sat down and I drank it, and then I headed to work. So what does that tell us? I mean, it tells us what you did. You had coffee and then you went to work, but it doesn't really tell a story, does it? It's not saying that hit the snooze twice and it was raining, so I had to find my raincoat, and I was lucky to catch the bus that was right in front of my apartment, and I made it into the coffee shop, and boy, did it smell good. I ordered my double oat milk espresso latte, over ice and with a scone because they smelled so good, and the barista chatted me up about my latest project at work because he knows me. I mean, you can see where I'm going with that. I'm creating this whole scene that brings you along the journey. And I could go on and say that I met a friend and we talked about X, Y, and Z, and that there was music playing in the coffee shop and what kind of music it was and what kind of job you had to dash off to after this coffee date. So that's the quick and dirty example of show versus tell. And the third strategy that I want to share with you is something we're all familiar with, but it's hard to put into practice a lot. I mean, I think we all do a really good job at the beginning of a new year with setting goals. And you may be someone who has your goals written out daily, weekly, monthly. And if you do, that is wonderful. But you deserve to invest in yourself and your writing project by setting goals for that. Even if you have goals in your work area or household or what have you, because research suggests that authors who do set specific writing goals are 75% more likely to complete their projects and achieve publishing success compared to those who do not. So think about which column do you want to be in? Do you want to be in the 75% or the 25%? So how do we do this? We set realistic goals. Because setting goals is imperative to writing and completing your memoir, it's important to set clear, achievable goals that help you stay focused, maintain momentum, and break the potentially overwhelming task of writing a memoir into manageable steps. By setting regular milestones, you can track your progress, celebrate small victories along the way, and keep yourself motivated. Goals create a sense of accountability. They encourage us to prioritize our writing time, and they help us make steady progress toward completing our memoir. So, how do we do this? The easiest way is schedule it. I mean, technology has made it so easy, whether you prefer to use a paper calendar, which I have. I also have a Google Calendar. Whatever works for you, set those goals and stick to it. Commit to a specific writing schedule, whether it's daily, weekly, or monthly. And remember, be kind to yourself. But remember that baby steps equal progress. Starting with small goals, such as writing for 15 minutes a day, gradually increasing the time, helps build confidence. So even if that's all you have, build on that. Try to add 5 minutes each week, or whether you start at 30 minutes or whether you just get on a writing sprint and 2 hours go by, that's awesome. But that's not going to happen all the time, either because we won't feel like writing or because we don't have the time. But I think we all probably have 15 minutes a day that we can devote to writing. And it's important that when you do that, no matter what your goal is that you celebrate along the way. You don't just wait to celebrate at the end when you're ready to submit a manuscript or when you're holding your book in your hands. Celebrate that you have written 10 pages, 2 chapters, the whole manuscript, because that helps you maintain momentum and keeps you going. And if you want to remain accountable, share that with somebody else. You can have a writing buddy and tell your friends. When you talk about it out loud, it makes it real and it helps you become more accountable to yourself. But remember to celebrate your progress. So, knowing what you know now, based on what I just talked to you about, um, are you excited to start your memoir? Let's recap the 3 simple and powerful ways that I just shared with you. First, using photographs to evoke memories helps you uncover your unique memoir idea by bringing to light significant moments and emotions. Second, writing in scenes instead of simply recounting events makes your writing more engaging by immersing readers in the action and sensory details of your story. And lastly, setting clear goals helps you stay focused, break the process down into manageable steps, and consistently moves you toward completing your memoir. So I can show you how to go from aspiring to published author. I can teach you how to start or finish writing your memoir. I can help you find the perfect publishing path for you because thankfully, there are several options for authors to choose from. And finally, I believe that no matter whether you think that you are writing this book only for yourself or for friends and family,